that I keep telling myself that I'm going to be answering some questions in the Ask Keith channel, but I give too whenever I answer questions, I write too much, even though I could just say one word. Yeah. Don't send the questions inside the Ask Keith channel for this stage. And instead, if you have, forward them here in the main chat. Forward them so that if people want to answer as well for your question, they can respond and it can be like a proper conversation around it. And if people want to give advice or share their experiences or answer a known question already. Yes. Hello. Okay. I wish there was a. I wish there was a way for me to. This is a. I don't know how to pick questions now. Okay. Should we have like a little. Should we have. Hold on before I start. Let me just check my things to make sure I'm safe. I think we'll be fine. Okay. I wonder what we can start with. I think this is really funny, so I'm going to start with this. It's the way that they wrote it. It's from Egg. Keith, what's your favorite food? Please, Keith, what's your favorite fruit? I want to try every fruit in the world. I am a big fruit fan. I am a number one fruit enjoyer. I love fruit. I like kumquats a lot. They're like little oranges, Keith. Do you like fruit, Keith? Answer me. I'm in a little cave with one apple. I shall starve, Keith. Let me out, Keith. Wait, don't leave yet, please. Okay. What's everybody's favorite fruit? My favorite fruit. It's a little tricky. I'm not really a big fruit person. It's not really a big part of my diet because I'm more of a person who eats a lot of meat, and vegetables rather than fruit in itself. But I do eat them in general a lot. I I don't think I have a favorite. I love everything, I think. I love everything. I think fruit in general is just so refreshing. Strawberries are a go-to when it comes to flavors, but I don't really eat them as much as like actual fruits. And I always got to represent, of course, like the Philippines' national fruit, which is mango. Uh, yeah, a lot of refreshing options out there, especially calamansi, which are these tiny green limes that are very common in the Philippines, and turning that into a juice, like, it's very refreshing. I do love apple juice too. I love orange juices. I just love fruit juice. I think they're really fun. And this is another thing. Speaking of fruit, I found out that people in the West like to eat avocado for savory food. Well, back in the Philippines, we mostly have it with sweet and condensed milk and milkshakes. And people in the West are, it's more common for them to actually eat avocado with savory flavors. And that was shocking to me. Mm, okay, I'm looking for another question now. I'm so sorry if I cannot answer most of it. The chat can be fast, but I'll try to do as much as I can while I'm here. This question is from Odie. You've mentioned that there are some songs that won't be published due to it not fitting the storyline you have. How do you pick and choose which ones are more fitting for Meadowlark? I love how you incorporate stories with the music, by the way. It's super creative. Thank you so much, Odie. Well, first of all the songs that I've written for Word, which are the songs that are already released at the very moment under Yaelokre, these songs were written years back. Well, most of them are. Most of them. They were written when I was a teenager, and they weren't really for Meadowlark as the story that we have now. However, they were written with the idea of this is what I want my story to feel and to have that theme. May it be, you know, self-discovery and courage and love and compassion and all of that and all of those schematics. And that felt like a good prologue for the story since no, I am not a teenager. Um, good prologue for the story because it was all written through genuine means of growing, and it's raw, it's honest. Um, for future songs, I I decide because I am writing them at this very moment, knowing full well what chapter one, chapter two, chapter three, and the ending, and what happens after that. I know what goes on. So I don't get to decide of, oh, this existing song should fit in this chapter. I don't do that. I write them accordingly, and I write the story first before I write the song. So it is chronological. I write everything chronologically so it fits better and I'm able to tell the story clearly. I hope that answers your question. This question is by Willow Wisp. Have you ever thought of clarifying the story of the hayfields? I've gotten some real mixed signals about what's canon, if you know what I mean. Really good question. Hayfields, as I've mentioned in the previous question as well, and the previous answer, is included under For Word, which were songs that were written way, way long ago. And they don't really have an actual story within them, nor were they voiced to sound like any of the lark particularly. And that is because these songs are just schematics. These songs are just meant to represent themes. and the feeling and what we could possibly expect in terms of uh I need a synonym for themes, but what we could expect for the feeling of what Meadowlark is all about. And for example, Heartebeast. I wrote Heartebeast when I was, I think, 15. And it was after I watched an animal documentary. I loved watching documentaries about the world. And at that age, I was really inspired by the fact that there are so many stories and perspectives out there that we don't know. That beyond our calcified houses, there are countless of stories. And so that inspired me into writing a song about storytelling outside of what we can see. And it's a play on perspectives, and that is what is that's a huge part of what Meadowlark is, which is storytelling. And I like that it being the very first song and foreword, Heartebeast. And it's really fun because you don't know. A lot of people don't know what a Heartebeast is. And I think it's really fun for people to get into the music, and then they enjoy the music, and then their vocabulary expands and they go, what is a Heartebeast? And they start searching it up, and then it starts to make sense of where are Heartebeasts found? What are Heartebeasts like? What's their nature? What do they look like? What surrounds them? What are the predators? Do they have predators? And of course they do. We've got the big cats, which are the cougars, or the lions and the tigers, and then not only that, they share multiple stories with other perspectives, like the hare trying to protect its children from being haunted by the same cats, and the cats, you don't know if they're evil, but the truth is that they're not. In the eyes of the Hartebeest and the rabbits, the cats are evil, but the cat is just trying to survive. The cat turns out to be a mom and just trying to find food for its baby as well. It's really fun. It's really, really fun. Uh, it's same with the rest of the songs. Hartebeest, Hartebeest about storytelling, hayfields in general. In Let me just properly break this down. I'm so sorry. Hartebeest is about storytelling. Harpy Hare is about turning those stories into fables, childlike play, and passing it down, and the stories getting dumbed down or like dimmed down into these easily digested poems and rhymes. And the Hound is kind of that. And the Hound is kind of a reflective of, for example, the story of Snow White. We are presented and introduced to Snow White through a Disney childlike princess film, but then later on, as we grow up, or we just start to wonder, even if we're really young, that that story is actually true, or was it true? And the story is actually darker than it sounds, and it was presented to us. And that's kind of just in the Hound, which is you're shifting something forgotten, something a lot darker, something the truth. Um, I and then Neath the Grove as a Heart is an amalgamation of all of that, and it's what that's another thing of home is where you are, and it's a what matters is what you know and what is true to you. It's a lot of storytelling. Yeah. It's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to talk about. A lot to a lot to talk about. Okay. Okay. Uh Is Keith not reading the chat? I am reading the chat, but whenever I'm answering, I tend to focus so I can address it more. I'm so sorry. This is from Fern. Fern, pause. Hi, I've always wondered this because the lark actually inspired me to start making masks. So, what originally gave you the idea to give the lark members masks? Thank you. I have always been a performer all my life. Ever since I was 1 years old, I was taught to hold a microphone in front of my face and sing. And my very first stage performance was when I was 3 years old and I sang the national anthem at my school. And ever since, every year I would step on stage and there'd be some kind of event and I'd be exposed to a crowd. But despite all of that, and you would expect that with a lot of experience, I would think that I would overcome this fear of stepping on stage and making a mistake, and it would flow naturally to me. Even though it is true that whenever I step on that stage and I would suddenly gain the confidence to perform, I still to this day have stage fright. And what helped me overcome that, in a sense, even though I still do feel it to this day, was to differentiate myself from the person I really am and the person the people can see. I was acting, I became a performer, I was performing. And that in itself is a mask. I am masking, I am hiding myself, that I am afraid so that I can perform better. And if it were norm, if it were if it were more common, I would have probably performed a lot of my performances back then, or competitions with a mask on, if I could, if I knew that that was an option. And I wrote Cole Seymour really based off of my child self of being so passionate about the thing that I do, which is performing and telling a story and singing, despite having that fear. And having that mask, having the masks really just enhances that whole bit of we are performers and this isn't our true selves. And then deep inside, we're actually just kids. We're scared, we're worried, we're having fun, we're all different things. I hope that answers the question. But it doesn't stop at masks too. In general, Meadowlark and my stories and my person revolve around the word performance and performing. And it's always so fascinating to me that you can be a different person. You don't even need to act. A question by Nightshade: is Cole the main character in a sense? Yes, Meadowlark has the lark as the main protagonists, but out of all of the characters, Cole Seymour is the very, very main character out of the entire story. Mm. This next question is they're from two different people, but kind of the same. From Sky Siren 41 and Evelyn Raven. Are there any books that inspired you? Keith, do you like to read books? If so, what type of genre or what kind of films do you like to watch? Or I don't know, what music do you like? I don't really read. I grew up in a country where reading books is kind of a privilege, low key, and we don't really have active libraries around the Philippines for us to be exposed. And well, we didn't really have good books, and it wasn't something that was common. So I didn't grow up with a habit of it. It's actually really surprising when I moved here in England, and everywhere you go, in the train, in the park, and just the cafes, like people are reading actively. Same the same way people are looking at their phones. I think it's really endearing. But when I was whenever I'd craft, I don't really do that now because I listen to music sometimes, or I just don't have the time to multitask. But instead of reading, I would listen to audiobooks. The only books that really interest me are philosophical and history books. I am not really big on. I grew up kind of really having a hard time with history because our school and my country is unfortunate. They would like to block real history from our classes, if not to manipulate the books and what really happened in history. They would filter out history from the West, what really happened in the Philippines. And since it's quite a religious country and I went to a religious school, we were kind of we were kind of not in a greater situation when it comes to understanding history. So I try to learn as much as I could with my time. With philosophy, I have started a book that included, no, not really included, but like grace through Western philosophy. And I've currently delved into David Hume's and justice theory, the bundle of self theories, and all of that junk. And it's a little like a long talk, it's a boring talk, philosophy. But I do love philosophy a lot. That is my answer. I'm sorry, I sound really boring. I am looking through the chat. Answering a question from Soph. Keith, will the lark age throughout the story, or will they stay the same throughout the whole thing? Thank you for your time if you read it. I really love your music and thoughts throughout the story. Thank you so much, Soph. Thank you. I like your profile picture. Hoi, 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 hoi. I enjoy FNAF. Uh, sorry, that was a part of Soph's profile or description. But to answer the question, no, the lark won't really age because I've I've throughout like this whole project. Say if I was still doing this Yaelokre project, if I turn, I don't know, 30, they'd still be the same age. Everyone would still be the same age because the story stretches out so far and fast that it wouldn't really make sense if I aged them per chapter for me. And yeah, I just think that they have so many adventures that they don't really need to age. And I think it's vital for their character and for their roles in the story for them to stay children. I won't be addressing anything regarding the Harkers or the Fort Cradles. I'm so sorry. It'll all be explained once the time comes. These are information that I won't be gatekeeping from you, but it would be best for it to be presented at the right time with the right presentation and quality of work to introduce them properly and describe them properly. So we're just going to be tackling what we have during forward. Hmm. I am picking a question. Again, I will not be answering anything law related. Think of questions that like break the fourth wall, like something that I can actually tackle. I'm just saying a lot. Hmm. This is a question from Casatella. Hello, Casatella. They asked, will you be putting out songs unaffiliated to Meadowlark? The answer is yes. I have so much to offer outside of Meadowlark and Yaelokre as a project, and I definitely think that the first years of Yaelokre have stumped me and left me in a in a pit where I feel very limited, and I think it kind of disappoints me that whenever people ask what I do for work and I go, I'm a musician, and then they get presented with Yaelokre, and the first few songs they hear is my voice acting as the kid. And of course, that is a talent in itself, like a skill in itself. But they don't understand that I'm actually very much capable of doing way more than that musically and skillfully as a singer. And I it would be more impressive or like respectable if they were to go if they were to understand what the project is about, like they know what goes on, like it's a whole story, it's a whole multimedia project with an overarching narrative. But no, I want to be able to have a proper profile for me as an artist and an author and as a singer. And there's so much that I can do. More songs are under Keith Osk and not Yaelokre. So there will be um, songs outside of Middle, like uh, this is a question by Fungal Little Freak with a with a little clown profile picture. They said, Keith, What made you choose your style of music? How was it developed? Adore your songs. Thank you so much. I love the little emoticons that you're doing. I didn't really get to choose what kind of music that I made. I didn't. I didn't really get to choose the genre of my music and the sound that I made. I just had really limited options. All I had was my little guitar at home, and I didn't have anyone that knew how to make the kind of music that I liked, and I just kind of went, yeah, this is good enough. Add some drums, add some sticks, add some bass. These are all the things that my friends could do, and I don't know. Yeah, I recorded Hayfields and a lot of forward songs in my old house. Well, at my old house in the kitchen. And I will say this over and over again. The reason behind it is because we had a lot of dogs, and the kitchen was the only place in the house that the dogs weren't allowed in, and it was quite enough for me to do it. And yeah, I don't really get to choose the songs that you've heard in Under for Words, under Yaelokre. The genre isn't really something that I actively chose. It just kind of formed itself. That this instrument specifically, it has turned, the sound has turned into Yaelokre's identity. The the baritone guitar lele has turned into, you hear it and it's, oh, that sounds like Yaelokre. That is Yaelokre. It's such a specific stringed instrument sound, and we've kind of piled onto it. The decisions behind the instruments required a lot of significance regarding the storytelling. For example, the bells are significant to Clement, the string being present for call, and the woodwinds will be for the woodwinds, and heavy percussions would be for Peregrine and Kingsley, and so on and so forth. And the hound being either the bass or the cello lurking. And as you notice, I never really put piano in any of my Yaelokre songs so far, because piano doesn't hold any significance to me. It sounds beautiful as an instrument, but I do not find it connected to anything at the very moment. Yeah, that is my answer, which is connected to a previous question regarding songs outside of Meadowlark. Keith and my genre as Keith is actually really different from Yaelokre. And you'd start to notice once I have releases under that profile, that you'd find out that I actually really, 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 really love brass and brass bands and brass instruments and jazz and hip hop and all of these things that I enjoy. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Yaelokre as a genre, sure you could call it folk, but at the same time, to be fair, I can't. You know, the only songs that you know are the ones that are out, and I know the sound of Yaelokre from within, like as a well, no, I wouldn't really call myself a producer, but I do help with producing the songs, and like it's just quite cinematic, and whatever is relevant to the scenario, the story, and what we want people to think of when they listen to the songs. Anyway, moving on. This is a question from Morty. Will there be new merch for the upcoming tour, or still the old from last year? Thank you for reading my question. I saw you in Prague last year and gave you a donut bag as a gift. I hope you remember me. Oh my god, that's really sweet. In Prague. It will be new merch. And I think we will have some of the old merch, but I'm not quite sure. I know for well that we will have new ones. I am looking for more questions. I need to stop rolling. I enjoy this seat so much. I just get to like twirl around. This is a question by Arrested Tennis. Arrested Tennis. Can you break down how you make your music? First this and then that. I find it really complicating. Well, it is a very good question and a very good uh, what do I call it? Iceberg to get into, because it is different per artist and per person really on how they make their things. For me, it would be depending really. If I were to make a song for Meadowlark, I would need to write the story or that section first. I would need to lay every single thing that I have regarding that topic and that section of the story in paper. And I will need to make sure I'm using the words that I want to use and I'm thorough and I understand my work. Because one of my number one rules is to make sure that nothing is word salad and I am not just throwing out words for the sake of wording. And it's really important to me. Words are really important to me. Clear communication is really important to me. And allowing the listener to actually grasp, if not it specifically, it would be like interpretations of what goes into your mind when you read this lyric. And then after I lay out all of the information, that is when I can start composing and then turning the story into lyrics by chopping the sentences down or puzzle doing a whole puzzle piece and what fits with each sentence and how to shorten paragraphs and make them comprehensible, and I can compress them into like a 3 minute to 5 minute 6 minute song. And in doing so at the same time while I'm plucking verses from that sheet of chapter, I am composing the melody. And if I were to it would go like let's have an example. If I were to say I saw let's do a song right now. Let's do a song right now. And this is my example for Meadowlark. An example. I saw a little this might not work because I'm doing this under pressure. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I think it's fun. I saw a little girl with a balloon down the street. I saw a little girl with a balloon down the street. She had not noticed the wind coming strong from behind. She waddled. Waddled. Yeah, she loses the balloon. She waddled away. I saw a little girl with a balloon down the street. She had not noticed the wind coming strong from behind. She waddled away. She waddled away without worry. She waddled away without worry. And this is where it goes, I saw a little girl with a balloon down the street. She had not noticed the wind coming strong from behind. She waddled away without worry. And then the fourth stanza is when I think or like combat myself on going, should I make a sentence that rhymes with behind, or should I prioritize the storytelling rather than rhyming? Or best case scenario, I do both. But at the same time, do I want this to be a common verse, verse, chorus, verse, verse, or do I want it to be a narrative? It is very quite complicated, but I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go as much as I could because I could go with like soon. She waddled away without worry. Let me think. This is really fun for me. I love making up things in the spot. I saw a little girl with a balloon down the street. She had not noticed the wind coming strong from behind. She waddled away without worry. Ooh. And wondered not if I'm now fixated on this balloon girl. Okay, this is excessive, way too excessive. I'm just giving an example. I saw a little girl with a balloon down the street. She had not noticed the wind coming strong from behind. She had waddled away without worry, and she waddled away without worry and wondered not if what she holds would take flight. And then I get the guitar. I get the guitar. And I just run the lyrics with it. I saw a little girl with a balloon down the street. She had not noticed the wind coming strong from behind. She waddled away without worry and wondered not if what she holds would take flight. Na 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 or and then that is just another creative decision making of do I change the chords or what do I want this to sound like? Is this chapter of the story sad, wistful, nostalgic, or do I want to be upbeat and presentative, or do I want to be haunting? So a little girl, I saw a little girl with a balloon down the street. She had not noticed the wind coming strong from behind. She waddled away without worry and wondered if not, if what she holds would take flight. Na 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 na. Of course, the lyrics are not the best right now, but like, yes. Okay, I'm not putting the guitar down because but that is my process for Meadowlark. Story comes first. With Keith Osk and my casual songs, feelings come first. Feelings, real, genuine feelings. Sometimes I act and then I make myself really emotional, and that's when I get a boost of I want to let it out, no matter what it is. If I feel sad, really, really sad, I I use that strong emotion to translate everything into lyrics in a song and a feeling, feelings into a song. And whenever I'm really happy, even when I was in love, I all I did was make songs, and I wrote my partner so many love songs, uh, despite not being clear with my own feelings. During that time, I was still figuring out whether or not I was in love with them, but I did not know what kind of feeling it was, so I put it into song. And feelings are able to be translated into inspiration no matter. Yes, when my partner got to hear all of them, I made about like four before I realized that I was actually courting them subconsciously. It's um, with yeah with Keith Osk, it's feelings first and the vibe first, and I don't really care about the story as long as I'm able to confidently say that this is how I feel. For example, yes, it was an accidental courtship. It was quite fun. Worked out. Worked out. For example, the recent song, which was "Come South." This was a song that this is a bit out of tune, but I don't really care. This was a song that I wrote when I was battling with myself. And I'm really happy with this because it makes me so melancholic, and that is the translation that I need. Songs under Keith Osk feel like bottles of potions, and if you drink a singular bottle of potion, which is a song, you feel a specific thing. And if you are able to feel and hit that specific emotion, that I have done good. I have done a really good job. I'm gonna sing it too because I love doing this. You can see I'm getting distracted. I just love the guitar. The moment I start holding the instrument, I can't let it go. I am here to be of service as you are to your audience. I don't care about your glory as I embody our patience. You can't dream, you can't soar, and I will follow last before. Gently in my mouth you rest amongst the sharp my teeth, the warm my breath. Come south. Come south, I am waiting. I am waiting. This, alongside a lot of my Ethos songs, uh, are written by improvising. Whatever sticks and whatever sounds great, as long as it holds meaning. I could break this down for you if you want that, but and the hound calls response. To douse a scalded tongue. Kamahalan. All of my forward songs were written in this pattern. And that's how I can differentiate it from the first chapter to forward. All of the songs under forward were written when I was young and discovering and writing through feelings. And once the new chapter of Yaelokre comes out, which will take a while, you'll notice the difference in writing patterns and the feeling of the songs and the topics within it, because it was written specifically for Meadowlark. But like, and the Hound, and the Hound was and the Hound was a Keith Osh song. It is a something that I wrote because I was sad, and I've translated that into something more. And it just, when you're inspired. Yeah, you can still ask questions. I'm still answering them, but I got distracted. I love music. I love making. I'm a feeler. Like, the chat is really going fast, by the way. I can't, I barely read them. Oh my goodness, I can't pick. It's too fast. Hold on. Hold on. This is interesting. Don't know if I should answer this. I'll think about it. I'll think. I'm also taking a while because I'm reading questions and then I'm thinking of the answer before I say them. So I am not blabbering. I have to think, using my little brain to make it seem like a big brain. This question is from Nightmare. Have you ever compared yourself to others, like unhealthily? I am very thankful to say that I never did. I had a hard time. I had a hard time connecting with artists or looking up to people. One, because the lack of exposure, and I wasn't really I did not have, I think I wasn't privileged enough, or I didn't have the attention span to actually listen or look at other people's work, because I was so centered into my own little world that I just didn't have the capacity to digest art and what other people have. So I don't ever I have let me think of if there was a time I compared myself unhealthily to anyone. No one specific, really, but I think there's something I can mention. I love music and I love storytelling and I love art. And I love philosophy, and I am a patchwork of all the things that I love, but I'm never really a master at any of them. I'm just a Renaissance man. I am just a jack of all trades. And I often see people who are, for example, I don't really listen to the music, but a general example would be, was it Ray? Was it Ray, the person who made the I got a ring, I got a ring, I got a ring. Uh, do you know that? I hear that song a lot in the radio. Yeah, if you know who I'm talking about. And she is very knowledgeable about music and craft and composing, and I think I don't know it, but I think she had background with classical music, and I don't listen to her music and I don't know her as a person, as an artist, but it is very apparent from her videos and from what I know about her from my colleagues and also the media that she is very well versed in the field of music. And oftentimes, whenever I'd see a video of her going, I love music, music is my life, I breathe music and I express music and I am all music. I admire that from her, but there's this doubt within myself after that of comparing myself to her of we're both very different. Her genre of music is very different. Her writing style and her passion for music is very different because music in itself is a very broad thing, as all art forms are. But she claims that she loves music so much that she practically is bleeding of music. And I would love to confidently claim and say that I am the same. But then I get put in this whole thing of I don't know about classical music. I can't even read music. I didn't grow up with music. I might have grown up singing, yes, and I do enjoy music. I feel it so much in my body that I want to learn a new skill and dance to it. I love being in music. But do I have the right to say that? Do I have the right to claim that when I can't even confidently list down the fundamentals of music and composition and classical music and all that world? Because I was not privileged to go into any classes and learn and have access to these things. And of course, I know the answer is yes, because everyone's story is different and everyone's experiences are different. And I don't see any benefit in comparing anyone with anyone. But of course, there's these there are these doubts within the self and dreams and regrets and guilt and what ifs that goes along with the passion, and that's completely natural. The same thing with, for example, Ariana Grande. When it comes to singing and voice, I when it comes to singing and voice, you know her from the way she sings and how she has a very high pitched voice and a very iconic sound and her whistling, and I'm talking about like within music. And I'm like, I can't do that. Even when I was a kid, even within the Philippines, for you to be an established singer, people's perception or like understanding of it is just how high can you sing? How strong of a belter are you? Because even within the musical world, sopranos are always babied and they're always the one getting like taken care of because they love to give roles to sopranos and they don't care about us mezzos or like altos and baritones most of the time. And I grew up thinking that, well, I can't reach those notes. Does that make me a bad singer? I'm just going to enhance what I have control over. which is my pitch. And I'm going to learn how to control my voice so much that I can manipulate it the way that I want to, even if I can't reach high notes. And so I focused the last few years of like my vibrato and my quality over pitch, over those high notes, because that's all that I could do. I started learning how to voice act. I started learning how to manipulate my tongue placements and where the register would be. And now I have the skill to voice act. And I've made that as a I have multiple people in multiple voices in a singular body, and I made that kind of my thing, and that is something very special to me, because not only can I voice multiple people, but I have given them stories, I have given them identities, I have given them a life that I actively pursue and learn from, even. And I think it's such a simple question of, have you ever compared yourself to anyone? The short answer is yes. Anyone specific? No. But I do feel a slight jealousy, envious towards people who have always had a niche, or like always had education. I think education is what I'm most insecure of, the knowledge, only because I know full well I came from a country that was quite lacking privilege of education and manipulated history. I don't want to be dumb. I don't want to be dumb. Anyway, yeah. If you find yourself comparing yourself to other people, you are so different. And I think um, striving for something that's unique to yourself is the answer. And even within that, I know you're going to have clashes of, oh, I'm not unique enough to claim that I am unique. That's not the point. But if it's true to yourself, if it's significant to yourself, to your own story, then that's what makes it special. Because no, there is no wonder without inspiration, and inspiration is the bridge to each wonder and each dream. Nothing is original. You just have to make it your own for it to be original. For example, I'm sorry, I'm branching out on this. I'm so sorry. There's just so much to answer, I think. I don't know why you're listening to me ramble on. Uh, how do I? Another thing is, for I know that ever since the Yaelokre project started, a lot of people, especially younger people, have started getting inspired and making their own things now. Projects inspired by my project, and these often include their own set of characters with masks and having the same format or storytelling as me, and even copying and attempting my singing style and my my bird noises into their songs, and as well as the voice acting, and making it, it's really heavily inspired, and people tend to get really passionate and really like ambitious with these inspired projects. But I am very proud of these people. But at the same time, I hope that someday they will realize that it only really works if you make it your own. And if you are trying to make it so similar to me and my project, then it's not genuine. Because I formed this project inspired and rooted so much to how I compartmentalize my person so that I can tackle my own traumas easier. And I've made it more beautiful than, just stuffing them in the corner and being depressed about it. It's a long story. So you need to inspire yourself into making your own story, into making your own characters, your own projects, and your person as an artist. That was a long unnecessary answer. I'm so sorry. I'm moving on. New question, please. A question from Angel Vibes. Hi Keith, I was wondering if I could have your permission to make tarot spreads based off of your songs. I like to make tarot spreads sometimes, and I wanted to ask questions. I wanted to ask permission first before I did anything. You could go ahead and do that. I think it's really flattering and very endearing to me that people get inspired by my work to make their own thing, and I think it's really cool that you make tarot spreads, and well, I'm excited for you. I hope it goes well. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. I don't know if I want to answer this, but I'm maybe I am putting myself in a situation. Uh this is a question from Austin. Keith, do you have any tips for people struggling with vibrato? Vibrato was one of the techniques that was my mum taught me when I was very young. And one of the things that I found out that people do to learn vibrato is they shake themselves. I don't do that. Vibrato is not the same as yodeling. It's, oh my goodness. How do I even give advice to that? I sound like an alarm. trying to ah it's going from one note to another. And I think like the larger the gap is, well, a good amount. You don't really want to go That sounds like Tarzan now. Um, I don't know how to give advice to that. I could slow it down, just, but yeah. I don't really know my terms. I don't know how to teach regarding the singing bit because it comes naturally to me, but I never really learned it in a more fundamental way. I don't know anything fundamentally. I'm dumb. I am a dumb person. I don't know anything like by the book or like my terminologies and all of that. I don't know. It's squiggly, like a very squiggly line. If you if you came up to me and asked me something like a very professional genuine question about singing or music, I'm not going to be answering it. You're going to think that, oh wow, I thought you were very knowledgeable about that. And I'm going to be like, well, I yeah, I'm good at it, but I never went to school for it. I don't know how to teach you because I kind of just guessed a lot of it. I don't know my terminology, says the person with your vocabulary. I'm trying my best. I I deem myself to be such an not a knowledge, not can't even speak, not a knowledgeable person. So I'm like, I'm trying to educate myself as much as possible so that I'm respected. uh, Communication is really good. It's really, really good. Uh, Ooh. If you couldn't do music, what would you do for a living? Dream job, if not for music. This is a question from Flack. Am I saying that right? I would. My original dream, my original ambition was to be a teacher. I wanted to be a teacher of some kind to younger kids, and I wanted to be amongst classical music and maybe in a way, study music and then become a music teacher. And one of my dream jobs growing up as well was to become a conductor because to me, I loved music so much that I wanted to be surrounded with it. And I think being a conductor is such a respectable and such a wonderful thing. You're in a position where you are being looked at by multiple talented musicians and singers, and you're just there. They're following you, and you just you're in the middle of it. You're being engulfed with music. And I want to live in a world where I could just be engulfed with music. And I guess the closest I could get for that is whenever, of course, I am performing in front of you and you're singing along with me. And then it gets me really emotional because you're singing and I'm like in the middle of it and I get to just be. And sometimes I cheat and I don't really sing during the for a while parts of Harkin, and I let you guys do it. And sometimes I get too carried away and I start feeling really, really emotional. And you, I love being among music. I think it is generally just going to be surrounded by being a teacher and music. I well my dream jobs are not really jobs, more of just my dream careers. I want to go to university. I want to go to, it's not like I can't do it. I can't. I do have the option very much so, but it's more of just I want to go study music. I want to go study literature. I want to go study philosophy. I want to go study in general. I think I want to study. I think I grew up kind of missing out on a lot of studying because of personal reasons and financial reasons and country reasons and origin reasons. And I think I'm quite jealous of people who have the privilege to learn. And I do love learning. Okay. Okay. I wish I could answer a lot of the art questions for drawing, but if I do so, I'm going to be talking about very specific things, and I would need to have my second screen on and show you pictures so you'd understand. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe if I actually set this up, but for now, I'll talk about it in a bit later. This is a question by Hamish. How long does it take? How long does it take you to develop the individual voices for the characters? Which is the most difficult for you? It was really fun. I always love talking about this. I just love talking in general and informing people about how it works and things because it is quite my speciality, I think. Or what I love, at least my favorite thing to do is play around with the voice. The most difficult one, I would say, was the playwright, because that voice, I just unlocked that register last year by a joke. It was supposed to be a joke. There was no plan of voicing the playwright at all. But before the playwright, before I get into that, it was Peregrine. Peregrine was the hardest one for me to do for the longest time, and the easiest is Command. I could immediately switch on to Command anytime that I want. It's so easy for me to do so, and I could just switch it however I want. So I like making jokes with Command. It's I uh the closest to the voice that I had closest to growing up was Peregrine. I definitely sounded like them growing up, and Cole became my singing voice because it was a lot of uh, airiness, and I needed to have air in my singing style. Kingsley is very easy for me as well because it's kind of just a mix of Clement and Cole at the same time, and it's just the attack and the accent that really makes it Kingsley. Uh, you hear the frying? Sorry, I think it's just my microphone. Hello, can you hear it? Can you still hear it? Right now, do you hear it? Yay, thank you so much. Thank you. But yeah, the the hardest part for me was Peregrine. The longest it took was the playwright, and that is because it was kind of unexpected. And the I only had my partner for I've only lived with my partner for less than a year, and it was because when I was living alone, I wasn't really talking to anyone, so I did not know what my natural voice sounded like. Um, oh no, what's going on? What kind is it like? Is that? Hold on, let me fix it for you. I don't want you to be uncomfortable. Does this sound okay? I'm trying to fix the cable. Mike's trying to keep you from revealing too much. Isn't that so wonderful? Okay, here you go. There you go. Thank you so much. Where was I? But yeah, you discover a lot about yourself if you start talking to yourself. And a lot of the voices that I use on a daily turns out wasn't quite natural. And living with someone or just having someone 24/7, you really start to realize that this is what you sound like. And that register kind of just embedded that this is my comfortable sitting position of where I'm supposed to be, and it's fun. It's fun. It's yeah, it's fun. Anyway, let's move on. Yay, yay, yay. Yay, yay, yay. Yeah, going to university. This is a response to Audie and their response to my answer about going to university. It's such a privileged time, but the music is my livelihood right now. I wouldn't be where I am without the music, and I would really be struggling if I didn't pursue music. I was quite lucky as a person and as an artist myself. And if I stopped, then I wouldn't be able to help my family and so on and so forth. Uh, why am I saying that? I should stop. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling. Okay, I don't even go push it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Why is the mic being evil? What's going on? If I stay within this, okay. If I don't, I'm going to. Okay. What you all? I am going to move to my phone. I don't want you to keep experiencing this and dying, and it's going to be my fault, and I'm going to have to pay for everyone's bills. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Yes, I'm here. I'm here now. Hello, people. We do not have evil mic anymore because I'm on my phone, and you might hear my tummy grumble, but that's just me. It's okay. It's all right. Thank you so much for being patient with me. I really want to answer as much questions as I could because I feel like I have been postponing and procrastinating the Ask Keith channel for quite a bit. Venus lover, my favorite animal is dog. I like dogs a lot, mostly because I grew up with them, and that's why they're so important to me. Um, yes, I, I, yeah. I don't have a favorite dog breed. I don't really care about breeds in general. Hmm. If I'm muting randomly, it means that I'm drinking water, okay? Hello. Uh, the next question is from the one animator, Belzy. Keith, what do you think of Vocaloid? And if so, who's your favorite Vocaloid music artist? I don't really have a favorite Vocaloid music artist, but I do have a favorite Vocaloid. Well, not technically a Vocaloid. I don't know if she is now, but this is running gag of like she's not real because she's just in a tower, and her name is Kasane Teto. I love her so much. I grew up with her as well. A lot of my answers are just me saying, childhood, childhood, childhood. But it's true. I love her a lot. And to the point that I named one of my first cats after her. Uh, I think she's just misunderstood, you know. She's not official. She had this whole bit of she's not being official, but she just loves making music and singing and performing for people, and she's so inspirational. Um, uh, so yeah. I also love the raspiness of the quality of her voice as well. Uh, my least favorite Vocaloid would be Kaito, the blue guy, because um, I think it feels too forced that he has such a deep voice that makes people, you know, it's like it kind of feels forced that he's meant to sound like this attractive male guy. Just got one voice. Oh my gosh, it's so mean. But I know I'm trying to be nice to him. I'm so sorry. I know he's a wonderful guy. He's a yeah. Sometimes when he's not used correctly, he does sound like Kermit as well. I think it's just it depends on the skill of the Vocaloid artist of how they can shape uh the synths quite well. One of my favorites as well, two of my favorites is also Lin and Ren. Nakagamine duo. I like to think of them as duo rather than twins because they're mirrors of each other. That concept alone is such a wonderful thing for me that they can be interpreted as they're actors and they're more of uh instruments and tools, and in some stories they're lovers, in some stories they are siblings, in some stories they don't even know each other, in some stories they are enemies. And I think that is such a cool thing of similar with Barbie and Hatsune Miku, of how they're all very different, and not none of them are the same. And I think it's so fun, like the whole mirror self is such a fun bit for me. And what else? Of course, like I love Miku. She's always just there. Question by, I don't know how to say your name, JPXFRD. Did you ever had any problems with talking to such big crowds, or had it always been natural for you? As I've mentioned along this stream, that I have been exposed to a lot of shame growing up with a mum that has wanted me to perform a lot on stage, and it's practice. And then a way to cope for that is making a character to present myself as, and it requires a lot of memorization and preparation and practice in general of knowing what I'm comfortable with, and knowing, being knowledgeable about what I'm talking about, what I'm saying about, what this project is about, and what people came here for. And it's 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 something to it's something that doesn't come easy. For example, my dad always thinks it's such a baffling thing to stand in front of people, even if it's just 5 people, and talk, let alone sing. But he has always had a stage fright. He would always have this story he would tell about when he was in school, as a young guy, as a young boy. He uh was called in front to read, and he blinked, and then he doesn't know if he actually read or if he started disassociating, and he just went to sit down, and he doesn't know if he actually read the thing in front of everyone. And I know it gets really bad for some people, and I was at that stage too. So yes, it is just a skill. You get a hang of it. You start to realize that people do actually enjoy the performance, and they know it's a performance. You showed up to perform and to talk to these people, just like what we're doing now. I'd be really, really scared right now if I went into this channel and talked, and turns out you didn't come here to listen to me talk, and to everyone is like, what is going on? I'm so confused. I'm so sorry for confusing you. I'm so sorry. Thank you for answering on behalf of me of questions I've already answered, by the way. It's so hard to keep up. Motorola Rainbow StarTAC asks, do the rest of the Lark wear different hairstyles? Yes. The same thing with the outfits as well. I like putting them in different outfits and different hairstyles from time to time that fit their personality and their interests as well as characters. And I think it's that whole natural thing, the natural of it's their favorite colors, it's their favorite fashion, and what's comfortable for them, but it's not all the same outfits. Like, of course, they're not going to be wearing the same hairstyle, the same outfits when, I don't know, they're playing out on the streets or going to bed or having a night out or something like that. Oh, this is such a sweet question. This is such a sweet question. This is from Lyric. Hi, Keith. Me and my sister, Cadence, wanted to know what are your favourite moments while performing on stage? Is it seeing the Wonderfolk come together? Is it singing? What makes you want to perform in front of so many people? I love this a lot. I've got a lot of favourites. A few of them would be just making people happy. I love being not the source, but being among people and the happiness and the joy and the love and the passion, even the emotions that they surround themselves in. And on top of that, sprinkle in the music, and everyone's just not just the music, the art and the arts of crafting, and there's so many stories to be told within a singular crowd, and for all of them to be embroidered into this melodious song of community and being within that. And that's the same reason why I wanted to be a conductor as one of my dream jobs, because I was embedded in the music. I was in the middle of music. And I gain that same kind of high, that same kind of happiness that I get to witness all of you have the most fun, and it gets to me. I also, this is not really a job, but one of the side thing, like a side thing, like a side, how do I say this? Occupation that I would have had was to become a performer, a scarecrow that visits this fun scarecrow that visits, children's parties, birthdays, and events. For example, people who dress up as Disney princesses that gets hired to go to birthdays or gets hired by like Disneyland theme parks. And that was my main inspiration for when I became the storyteller, actually. And through that, I don't even need to be the storyteller and to dress up as the storyteller to have that job, but performing and making people happy, like hearing children laugh and parents getting emotional, those are my favorite parts. There's so much love to be given and to be spread around just performing. That's my favorite part. I love touring. I love performing for people. I love spreading this wonder. It's fun. It's fun. Mm. 11:22. I'll give it another hour, I think.
I'll go at like 12:30 or less. This is a question from Bagel. Would you ever want to do a collab again and make an official song with another music creator? Follow-up question, if you could collab with any music artist, who would it be? I don't have anyone that I officially want to do a collaboration with, but if there's for sure a want and a dream and a possibility, the closest would be with Ben Kaplan, because I think our voices just blend well together, and so do our characters. And under Keith Osk, I think it would be a wonderful, wonderful thing if we could have like make a song, like a project together, maybe share a tour together where it's both of us rather than just Yaelokre and him supporting. Um, Ben Kaplan has become a really good friend, and I think that's just an amazing thing from being so inspired by his work and performances that we get to create together now as artists. Um, that is yes. Mhm. That's the only thing that I could think of at this very moment. Question by Matthias. Hello, Keith. Do you ever plan on recreating or re-releasing older merch like the phone case or the notebook? Well, sort of. Maybe. Nothing's confirmed. But I do want to branch out from the usual, musician merch, which usually contains black and white t-shirt and posters, those boring things. And I want to actually expand on what the shop would have. I don't really have a lot of control over it, really. I get to have a say, but it's more of just, oh, this is what usually what we do for the artists, and I just give suggestions, and then yeah, the last those previous items was when I was independent and I was using Teespring, and it wasn't the best uh wasn't the best website to really, and the people to really work with for the merch because of the quality. And there's a lot of options, and I do want to bring a variety of options. Um and oh, thank you, Marco. Thank you. Uh for merch, I do want to someday expand on stationery, and I hope to one day make backpacks, pencil cases, and more notebooks, and maybe uh, bookmarks and pens. Something that will really be useful for an everyday art kid, I think it would be sweet. Question by Kiyotaka Ishimaru. Will you give an art tutorial or even tips maybe one day? Because by the way, I love your music and you inspire me. Thank you. Uh, I don't know if I am knowledgeable enough to give advice on art. Same thing with singing. I do these things because it comes naturally to me, and I often feel scared that I am not smart enough or educated enough with the terminologies and such to to teach what I do, and I don't want to lead people in the wrong direction. And maybe someday I'll think of something that would be easy to explain that I know I fully understand, and I'll be able to comfortably educate other people on my process. But for now, I don't think I'm confident enough. Thank you for the thank you for the question, Art. For the people asking about the countries and the cities that if I were to, if I'm going to be performing in them, my personal answer would be yes. But in reality, it really just depends on the budget of things and how practical we could get with it. And it's a long process of like, if I wanted to go to this city or this country, would it work out for me and my visa and my traveling and the people that we have, which venue? So I cannot confidently answer, and I don't want to disappoint people, and I don't want to put people's hopes up. It is quite expensive to go on tour. Uh, and that's why people listen to the music, and we are well, I don't really need to expand on that. It's more on the financial, boring adult stuff side. Is there an animal that could represent Kingsley? That would be a dog, I think. Because bark, the tree bark, a pampered doggy. It's baffling to me that there are a lot of people here that consistently come to the lives and the streams, and I don't know how you can put up with this. uh, Hello, Keith. I was wondering if you like calico critters. Sylvanian families, I personally love to collect them. From Sophie. I think I find them so endearing and so sweet, and I do love them. I don't really like collecting, but I get gifts a lot with them, and I've cherished them, and it's so precious. And whenever I walk past the toy aisles at the malls or like just leisure shops, I do try to take a look at them. And oh, hello, teacup. I try to look at them, and I think it's so sweet how they're displayed most of the time in those glass boxes of they're living their own little life in their own little mansion, having a little dinner, having a little picnic, and there's little babies. They're sweet. Answered by no. Question by Yakome. Would you like one day to sing for a movie, an animated series, video game, etc.? I would love to. I would love to work with bigger projects that are beyond me that I'm actually not leading. I would love to be casted on for something, and I would love to be able to make music for certain stories and provide my voice. And I think that would be really exciting. From Clad, do you see meadowlark being represented in media other than music? I know the idea of a book was put up there, but I don't know if there's still desires for that to come to fruition. The book is still very much something that I desire to continue. For the same reason as previous, I have to feel confident within my writing and my skill, and for the entirety will take a lot of time, as most books do. And for this book, I want to use as much of the space in each page as much as possible. I just want to fill it out with words, and I don't want any space to be wasted. It's going to be a lot of organized rumblings regarding the work and the world. I don't think it's going to be written in a sense similar to, I hate to reference it, uh, Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or those kinds of fiction books that are linear or chronological. I think it would be more of an insight book of what this is supposed to be, and I do have the drafts already written down. Uh, mm, thank you, Marco. And afterwards, if when all of it doesn't matter if it becomes successful because I am quite insatiable regarding my ambitions and my dreams, but I will someday would want to write a play and see Meadowlark on stage with actual actors and costumes and music orchestrated just for the play in itself and have its own stage and set design and production, and it's a really big dream. But yeah, I got one thing at a time with the very, very, very beginning. Oh, Christ. I think it's Meadowlark is definitely something. I want Meadowlark to be a kind of media that is a family that welcomes the whole family. And I want it to be a thing of either it be a movie or a stage play. I do want it to be a stage play because then it would be more opportunities for say different actors and different singers rather than one singular actor consistently being recognized as Clementine or as Cole, that will eventually grow out of that character, but rather how, for example, during musicals they have contracts per performers, and they perform as this character for a couple of months, 2 years, and then they change rotation. It's just more opportunity, and I want like it to be the dream is for example, a family goes, I should take my kids to see Meadowlark, and it's going to be really, really sweet. And they get to be, I want there to be lessons and emotion, similar to how when I saw Matilda live for the first time, I brought my family, and they were quite emotional as well. And there was some humor, and a lot of the kids were really getting recognition from acting as the cast, and it's not only a way for the audience to learn, but also for young performers and singers to be given that opportunity as to play as kids. And yeah, I think that's my biggest dream. That's my really, really, really big dream. I know it's not a humble one, but in some way, maybe someday I'll reach it if I work hard enough for it. A lot of the generation, a lot of the current generation now that are exposed to the project are quite young, and in the future, I may be really old when this happens, and I'll probably not be singing a lot. If I were, then I won't be under Yaelokre. And maybe I could only really see myself doing storyteller, which would make a lot of sense. Like we started with storyteller, we'll be ending with storyteller, and I think that like younger, the new generation would be introduced to the story in a way that's complete and digest, easy to digest, and something sweet. And that is the legacy that I want to leave on this planet. I think so. It's a lot of message of kindness and courage and creativeness and love. Um, let's see. I might have to end this soon because it's coming up to 12, and I know I said I'm going to be here for less than an hour, but I think it would be clean to just cut it at 12. So I'll answer a tiny bit more, maybe like one more, how long my answers would take, and I think it would be good. Mm, just since we're going anyway, this is a question from Shy. amazing to hear your voice, but I must go to sleep. If by any chance you could answer my question in the next 5 minutes, Keith, I'm planning to bleach a shirt and paint on one of the characters. Which one should I do? I think you should go for whatever it is you like. These kinds of questions I'm not really good at answering because I would just say, like, what do you like most? And you need to think for yourself. You need to start uh what what is your favorite character? And you could just pick whatever you want. If not whatever you want, then whatever you think is easiest to draw on a shirt. And what character has your most favorite color or something. Yeah, that's my answer. Just answering Star's question regarding the gifts, I'd it would be most preferable if you bought something quite small and meaningful. And I mean a letter. It's very simple and it includes a lot of your personal feelings and thoughts and just something that's really special to you that you've been wanting to say. But you don't have to bring me anything. I really appreciate everyone being so sweet and so creative, but you don't need to make as much effort. And it's really hard to travel with big gifts, so a lot of the times it's advised that you just bring something small and convenient. Thank you. This is a question from Constance. How have you found your style and clothes? I adore all your outfits and I want to know your process of how you come up with them. I'll forgive you for the character slander. Oh, and will you play more games on Twitch? Answering the latter first, I hope to play more games on Twitch. I do quite like playing games. And it's fun to just include you and for you to watch if you wish, even though it can get quite boring. To answer the question on the clothes, I don't really know. I just pick whatever I like, and I don't really have a reference, so I don't really look at pictures on Pinterest or anything, or Instagram or anything online to reference my clothes. And maybe maybe a few bit of that during designing for call it for the projects meadowlark because it is based off like the 20s and a couple of mixed timelines and mixed eras and I don't whatever I like. For example, nowadays I've started giving my clothes away to the charity shop because I won't wear them anymore. I don't see myself wearing them anymore. My vests and my waistcoats and my white frilly shirts, like I don't see myself wearing white frilly tops anymore. And I've started getting more into the fox leather suede jackets and more plaids, even though I've done plaids, and uh, the fashion has been evolving, and it's less on it being the process of subculture, but more of just I like the feeling of this, I like the shape it gives me, and yeah. No, I'm not giving away my bunny hat. It holds so much memories, and so many people have worn that too. Uh, it would be quite a sad thing. Yeah, 11:47. Uh, well, this is I don't know to read your name with this font. Is this an R or an N? Nanati? But a question Keith, I want to buy a musical instrument for my birthday, but I'm confused about whether I should get a baritone ukulele or a guitar lele. This will be my first instrument. Which one do you think I should choose? That's a very good question. Number one would be do your own research about the play styles and don't base it off me because I have my instrument. It's some people think that it's a baritone ukulele, but the current one that I have is a guitar lele. Well, the new one, it's still getting made. It's a guitar lele, even though it has 8 strings, and it is very specifically the measurement of it is in the middle of a baritone ukulele and a guitar. So it is kind of in that awkward hybrid situation because it is meant to fit my voice. And that is the reason why I chose this specific custom instrument because I really wanted it to sit right with my voice. But a guitar lady, it's a little odd, but it does help. Certain instruments fit people's play style and comfortability. If you want to learn an instrument based off the difficulty, you could start with the ukulele, and it doesn't have to be a baritone ukulele. You could start with a soprano ukulele because those are really, 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 really easy and a lot of really simple tutorials to it. It's small, it's compact, and it only has 4 nylon strings. Nylon strings, which means that you're not having to deal with the difficulty of sliding your hands and slicing your very soft fingers on steel guitar strings because nylon strings are a lot softer. And if you want to upgrade on that, you could just go from a soprano ukulele to a concert, which is a tiny bit bigger and more fuller sound than a soprano ukulele, and expand on that. But if you were to choose based off your interest of, I like the sound of the ukulele, I like this, but I like the sound of the guitar more, and I love how heavy and stringy the guitar can get, then learn the guitar. They're a lot more, it's the most common instrument out there. There are a lot more um tutorials for that. And I personally find the guitar quite hard and I'm not really knowledgeable with it, but I do prefer the guitar sound over the ukulele, and that's why I like to fiddle with it. But I am more knowledgeable in the ukulele than I am with the guitar. So I needed to mix the both of them to find the right one. So yeah, I can't answer your question directly, but this is just advice for me for how you can choose. The tenor ukulele is really, really good. It sits in a right comfortable spot as well. I've had a tenor for the longest time and I like the size and the length of it. You must have been playing for a while, but how do you play guitar with your voice? Making it up as you go, even just singing or playing in general? Question by Cole. I do. I think it's just. I hate to say it, but it is true, and it's a really boring answer. But practice, where my hands are so comfortable and they're so they're just there, they're just doing their own thing that I can just feel like I could start. This is why one of the reasons I love talking while having a guitar because it's just there. I don't even know if my phone is able to catch on my guitar to sing you a song. I don't know if you can hear the guitar. Oh, that's not tuned. Ew. I'm really bad at tuning by ear. The heck? That's not tuned the way I wanted to tune, but I give up. We'll deal with this in the morning. That's so sad. I'll try to tune the guitar, and then I'll sing you a song. Let me just guess this. See, I don't know anything about guitar, guys. Dun, 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 bow, bow. I guessed it. I guessed it. I don't know if my voice is able to. How do I? The question is, how do I voice settings? Voice settings. If I do this, do you think it will catch on to the guitar if I try? I think I could do more. Okay. What's a topic we could sing about? Let's do some improvising. I think it would be sweet. Can you hear the guitar? Can't hear it. Huh. Voice settings. I have noise suppression is none. Voice processing. If it's voice is if your voice is not being detected by the automatic input sensitivity, stream reduce stream volume for people when talking. No. Tell me, does this work? No, I tried everything. I'm switching to my lappy toppy. No, I've tried this voice sensitivity. It's literally like nothing. Auto sensitivity. Auto sensitivity. It does not catch my voice. Let's go back to. Let's go back to. Oh my god! What is that? That's my heart and soul. It's so heavy. I'm the most amazing upstairs neighbor, dude. I've got like stompy feet and whatever this is. That just fell. Hello, I am back in this little guy, and I think it's going to be a little crazy. Hello, does this work? Is it still evil? Is it evil? Let's try to sing "Neath the Grove is a Heart."
colors flying away. The trees sway to the young ones piping. Will you stay to listen to me sing? Secret, do you ever come to wonder what you're looking for? Is it in where you hold? Will you leave a trail for them to follow a path you'll soon forget? Oh, oh, foolish dreamer, be awake and do not walk away, you're staring. And listen to the wind, listen to the sound, listen to my voice. You should hear me now. Be still, be steady, and be. How do you begin when the earth is ever changing neath the ground? Is the heart still in slumber? You can remain. Will you Sa sabihin kada letra bang kakamali bumubula ay parati aking storya pangkakamali manahimik sabi ng sabik gawa ng iba bang kamali pangalan ko'y hinihinga Pintugon pagkakamuli ng hangin sa gabi and the houses hurling and the houses hurling you alive and heart is humming and the hound is humming and the hound is humming alive. Yo. Okay. I forgot if I did that. I wonder. I forgot if I did it with a capo on. Let me just figure it out. Let me figure this out. Hi. I don't know if I'm in the right pitch, but this is Kids in Leverett. Found forgotten fields of flocks, and I was elaborate in hiding, rowdy and rigorous, lyric and Raleigh there. The houses once stood a kingdom for a foolish majesty. Then he put his hands in verses and welcomed into PK the underdog on the board, and before what is left is a hamlet and well, so the old found and forgotten fields of flocks, and I was elaborate and hiding, rowdy and rigorous, lyric and Raleigh there, where the houses once stood. I'm going to skip the first. Toolmaker taught how to live once smooth met the marionette and took the threat from the bar and lost his head. Spider spinner, believe her, she's a mother, a woman mourns amidst a storm. She receives a knock on the door, a sight of silver and locks of gold. Kids among the stars, stolen while I was real, and she was alone. Birds among birds, I bark at leaves. Where the hour grows, I will be awakened. No longer will I be puppeted. String from your instrument, rather from a finger. Dearest that she was, she never saw me as my brightest. Take my hand and let us wander far from where we had once been strong. I can't see you, not for your eyes. I can't hear you've left me entwined. Where do we go? We're running slow from the house, from the hills to the field, to the humming groves. That's going to be Kid Love Brett under Keith Osk. I wanted to contrast just how theatrical the original was and how I'm so excited for the type of sound that it's going to have. It's going to sound like, specifically, it's going to sound like a very intimate phone call in the middle of the night at the top of a building in New York City. About, yeah, sure. I know, T-Cat. I'm very specific about this. I need to move on. I need to not show this part of myself to the public. I what song do we do next? I hate this. Oh. Moving on professionally, because it is 12:22 and I'm glad that I get to sing with you. I am so happy. I think I haven't sung in like 2 days. I think I will die if I don't. um I forgot the chords for the chord response on guitar. I also changed the chords on I forgot what I did, but I changed the chords on the guitar for the Keybox version of the chords response, is I wanted it to sound mature isn't really the word for it, but I wanted it to sound I don't know what word to use. Not sad or anything, but mm, something mellow, something yearning maybe. I don't know if I'm doing this right, so I'm just maybe guessing the chords most of the time. It's out of tune. Oh wait, no. Never mind. I was just pressing the wrong chord. It starts so slow. It starts so slow, and you can't keep up. Feel your feet sink to the ground. It wants you here, and it won't let go. Pull you deeper till you can't be found. Where do I? Try this couple. I keep pressing the enter button with my spam. I'm like a cat on a keyboard. Sorry about that. Let me find something from my notes on my phone to see if I've actually got lyrics that I've written that I never really got anything for. I've got a couple. I've got a couple of lyrics here that would just Feelings, feelings. And so so getting. I don't know if I like that as a start. So this will be the last one, and then I'll grab myself something to eat, and then I'll go to bed, like make my way to bed. To be fair, I just want to sing the pop song. I really just want to sing a love song. I really just badly want to sing a love song. So I'll do that. Just to make the night, just to end the night the way it should end. And I think we should all end the night with a love song. I think that's the best way to end everything. I think if the world were to end, if there was a song, it would be a love song. Not this love song, but some other love song. If the world were to end, that would be the soundtrack. Happy Pride. I don't know. Wow, that was a very rainbow picture of my drawing. That's not. That's not it. That's not it. If I sing the pop song in a not so poppy way, would that be a crime? Ah, it's out of tune. Why are you like this? Whatever. I can't get a hold of you. How about I write you a love song? It could be a little experimental verses. Oh, paragraphs long. It doesn't have to have a melody. My wishes on a list alphabetically abstract, be it. I can't contain it. Those are not the lyrics that I wrote in the end because that was a part of the draft, but I sang it anyway. Yeah, I'm stuck in a novella as a lover to your hero. Give the authors an idea. Tell them we could up the tempo. How many pages? It's taking ages to write. Constant line for me to make you mine. Name the undefined. I need to end this. This is a goodbye. This is a proper goodbye, and me strumming a goodbye. A goodbye for you all. Goodbye. 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 I say goodbye as I don't walk away. So when okay, bye.